A World Cup goal is scored. The stadium erupts. And then, seconds later, it's taken away for a foul that happened almost a minute earlier, 80 meters from where the ball hit the net. That's not a hypothetical. That actually happened at the 2026 World Cup. And it's just one entry on a growing list of decisions that made fans, coaches, and even federation presidents ask the same uncomfortable question. Was the world's biggest tournament actually being officiated fairly? Or was something else going on behind the scenes? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which calls sparked outrage, which teams seemed to catch an unusual number of favorable breaks, and why FIFA itself was forced to change how VAR worked in the middle of the tournament. The full picture is far messier than most fans realized. If you love sports stories, documentaries, and untold moments from the world of sports, make sure to subscribe to Sports Arena. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be a celebration. The first tournament with 48 teams, hosted across the United States, Mexico, and Canada, watched by more people than any sporting event in history. Instead, by the time the final whistle blew in the final between Spain and Argentina, VAR and refereeing decisions had become one of the most talked-about storylines of the entire competition. Some fans called it incompetence. Others called it something darker, a pattern. And one incident, involving a red card, a suspended player, and a phone call that reportedly reached the highest levels of political power, turned a football controversy into an international story. So was this simply the chaos of a new, expanded VAR system finding its footing? Or was there truth to the accusations that certain teams and certain players were getting protected? Let's go through it, match by match. The group stage, where the cracks first appeared. It didn't take long for the questions to start. In the group stage, Iran had what looked like a dramatic stoppage time winner against Egypt wiped off the board by VAR review. Around the same time, Ghana was denied what many observers felt was a clear penalty against England, after a defender caught a forward's knee without touching the ball. Ghana's coach didn't hide his frustration, publicly suggesting VAR simply wasn't doing its job that day. Then came Brazil versus Scotland. Vinicius Jr. thought he'd scored a brilliant individual goal, only for VAR to send the referee to the monitor and rule it out for a supposed foul in the build-up, a call replays made look extremely soft. Brazil went on to win the match anyway, 3-0. But the disallowed goal bothered the Brazilian Federation enough that its president wrote directly to FIFA, formally requesting more consistency in how VAR was being used. Meanwhile, in a different match, Germany's goal against Ecuador stood, even though Ecuador felt strongly that a foul should have been called moments earlier in the same passage of play. No review, no overturn. The goal counted. Two nearly identical situations, two completely different outcomes. But this was only the beginning, because if the group stage raised eyebrows, the knockout rounds were about to raise something closer to alarm bells. What would you have done if you were the Ghana or Brazil coach in that moment? Protest publicly, or stay quiet and hope for a fair whistle next time? Let us know in the comments. The round of 16, MESSI Kane, and a goal disallowed from 80 meters away. This is where things escalated. In the Argentina versus Egypt match, Egypt's Mostafa Zico scored what looked like a stunning goal to put his team 2-0 up. The celebration barely lasted a few seconds before VAR intervened, flagging a foul by an Egyptian defender on Argentina's Lisandro Martinez that had happened roughly 17 seconds earlier, and around 80 meters from where the goal was actually scored. Under FIFA's rules, there is technically no fixed time or distance limit for VAR to trace back through a passage of play. But even former elite referees publicly disagreed about whether this call made sense. Some argued the move never stopped, so it counted as one continuous attack. Others argued that much time and distance was more than enough to break the connection entirely. Egypt's manager, Hassam Hassan, was reportedly furious after his side's elimination. Almost nobody watching had seen a VAR intervention reach that far back before. And Argentina wasn't the only team benefiting from strange decisions. In England's match against Dr. Congo, Harry Kane went down in the box after apparent contact from the goalkeeper. The referee waved away the appeal, seemed to suggest Kane had dived, yet didn't even book him for simulation. VAR checked. VAR cleared it. No penalty, no card, no explanation that satisfied anyone. Do you think decisions like this, inconsistent, unexplained, and going against the same handful of teams, could actually change how fans trust the sport? Who do you think was really responsible? The individual referees or the system protecting them? If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to subscribe, because we cover the biggest sports scandals and untold stories in the world of sports every single week. The quarterfinals, when a red card became a political incident. Yet the real disaster had not arrived. In the quarterfinals, England edged Norway 2-1 in a match defined by a penalty controversy of its own. Jed Spence appeared to win a spot kick in extra time, only for referee Clement Turpin to overturn his own decision after a VAR review. Fans were split down the middle over whether the reversal was correct. But that wasn't the moment that made headlines around the world. That came when Folarin Balogun received a red card, a decision that, on its own, might have been forgotten within a week. Instead, it turned into an international story. Reports emerged that pressure was applied at the highest political levels to have Balogun's suspension lifted, so he could play in the following round of 16 match against Belgium. A football disciplinary decision had somehow become a matter discussed far beyond the sport itself. Almost nobody could remember a World Cup suspension becoming that kind of story before. And still, the pattern around Argentina continued. In their quarterfinal win over Switzerland, Lionel Messi's side once again seemed to benefit from a favorable set of officiating calls, just as they had earlier in the tournament, when Messi committed a rough foul on Algeria's captain during a hat-trick performance in the group stage, and somehow avoided even a yellow card after VAR reviewed it. One clean red card story becomes a political headline. One team keeps getting the benefit of the doubt. Was this coincidence or something FIFA needed to answer for? What do you think? Should political pressure ever be able to influence a football suspension? Would fans have reacted differently if this happened to a smaller, less famous team? FIFA is forced to ACT. Months of criticism finally reached a breaking point. By the time the World Cup reached its final matches, the volume of contested calls, Belgium's stoppage time penalty against Senegal, France's lengthy penalty check against Morocco, Belgium's waved-away handball appeal versus Spain, had become impossible for FIFA to ignore. So FIFA made a change most fans never expected mid-tournament. It began stationing VAR officials physically at the venue for the semi-finals, rather than relying entirely on remote review centers, in a direct attempt to restore confidence before the biggest matches of the competition. The real reason behind that shift remained mostly unspoken by FIFA itself. Officially, it was framed as a technical upgrade. Unofficially, almost everyone understood it as damage control. But even that couldn't fully silence the questions. In the semi-final, Spain was awarded a contested penalty converted by Mikel Oyarzabal against France. And heading into the final itself, a claim spread online that VAR had failed to properly check a build-up incident involving Messi before Argentina's equalizer against England. A claim that, on closer inspection, turned out to be wrong on both counts. Not every controversy was actually a controversy. Some were manufactured by the noise itself. What happened next changed everything about how this tournament would be remembered. The final and the question that remains. Spain beat Argentina 1-0 after extra time to win the 2026 World Cup. The turning point arrived when Argentina's Enzo Fernandez received a second yellow card and was sent off, a decision that fell entirely outside VAR's authority, made by the referee alone, and one that even neutral analysts largely agreed was correct. It was, in some ways, a fitting final image for the tournament, a clean, defensible decision, arriving after 2 months of decisions that were anything but. So was FIFA protecting certain teams? The honest answer is complicated. There is no single leaked document, no confirmed conspiracy, proving intentional bias toward any one nation. What there is, undeniably, is a pattern, inconsistent standards applied to nearly identical situations, a disciplinary decision that became entangled with outside political pressure, and a governing body that only acted once public criticism became too loud to ignore. Would this World Cup still be remembered as a triumph if none of these calls had happened? Or will 2026 be remembered as the tournament that finally forced football to confront how much trust its officiating system had actually lost? From a goal wiped out for a foul 80 meters away, to a red card that became a political incident, to FIFA quietly overhauling its own VAR process mid-tournament, the 2026 World Cup revealed just how fragile trust in officiating had become, even at the very top of the sport. The lesson isn't necessarily that referees were deliberately corrupt. It's that a system built without full transparency will always invite suspicion, and once fans stop trusting the whistle, no trophy can fully repair that. So we'll leave you with the same question we started with. Is FIFA protection real, or did football just get unlucky with inconsistency at the worst possible time? Let us know what you believe in the comments below. Subscribe to Sports Arena for more incredible sports stories, rise and fall documentaries, business breakdowns, and untold moments from the world of sports. And if you want to understand how money and power shape decisions behind the scenes in sports, stay tuned.